Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna work on a new design. It's a Dutch spiral. I haven't done any tutorials yet, so I decided it's time to cover it. A couple of you messaged me already looking for this bracelet, so here we are. I decided to make it more simple for the bracelet. I don't like too chunky bracelets, so I thought this is the perfect size, but I will explain you. With Dutch spiral you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you know, the more beads you add, the puffier it gets. But in the next tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a necklace, so there we're going to use bigger beads and more number of beads, and it will generally be a bit chunkier. But I thought this size is perfect for the bracelet. Now it looks quite big, but it's just puffy. In reality it's quite lightweight, you know. It's perfect for those people that don't like too much heavy stuff on their hands, but at the same time you get a chunky design. So I decided to use some 3mm. Here you see this yellow beads. These are just Chinese 3mm round crystals, so you know, I don't have any codes or anything, they just bought from China. But today instead I'm going to be using 3mm fire polish, this light amber AB, really pretty color. Then you'll need two different colors of Toho. I used here turquoise and brown. Today I'm going to be using hot pink and lavender. So these are the two colors I'm going to be using today. Then you'll need a clasp. I decided just to use a lobster clasp and make a loop for it with seed beads. That's exactly what we're going to do today as well. I'm going to be using like a big lobster clasp. Then you'll need scissors to cut the thread. Then you'll need the thread. I'm going to be using Nymo D. I thought gray will go nicely with these colors, and beading needle size 10. I think that's all the materials you need. So I'm going to thread my needle with 2 yards. That's not going to be enough for this bracelet. This bracelet actually takes about 4 yards, so you'll have to add thread in between. Or if you're comfortable working with long thread, just take 4 yards. But I'm going to show you how to add thread, because this one's a bit, you know, I made a lot of small tutorials where I show how to add thread to peyote, to right angle weave and all that. But this one's quite a unique stage, and I don't think I'll be coming back to it a lot to make a separate tutorial on it. So I'm just going to show you how to add thread in the tutorial. So I'm going to thread my needle with 2 yards and then we'll get to work. So I have all my beads ready. I decided to use the hot pink as the fluff here. See this brown? Well, I don't know, I just call it fluff because they're just fluffy. And then that center spiral going here, I used turquoise. I'm going to be using the lavender. And that 3mm bead I used here as a statement. You don't have to use 3mm. You can just use entirely all 11 O's. But I decided to add some color to it, so that's why we are using 3mm here as well. And this is going to add some sparkle to our bracelet. So we're going to start with one 3mm, 3 center beads, in my case lavender, and then 1 fluff bead, in my case hot pink. I'm gonna drop it down and leave a tail of about 6-7 inch. That will be enough to add one side of the clasp. And then I'm gonna make 2 overhand knots over this for 5 beads. That will help us to keep all the beads in place. Now my thread is stuck between 2 beads here, see? The fluff bead and the 3mm. So I have to go through the 3mm. Now the first row we do is a bit different from what we're gonna do afterwards, so stick around with me for this one. And then from the next row on, we just do peyote. So here, every time you pick up a bead is the bead your thread's coming out of. So right now, I'm coming out of the 3mm. I have to pick up 3mm, and then I'm gonna go straight through the next bead, which is the center bead, and then pull the thread. Now here you just have to try to push that bead in between, which is not going to be very successful because there isn't much gap in between, but you just hold it there. And then you're coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and then go straight through the next one. And then here again, you try to squeeze that bead in between those 2 beads. Then you pick up center bead again because you're coming out of the center bead, and then go through the next one. Now the next bead is going, the hot pink bead, which is the fluff bead. Now here, every time you go on top of the hot pink, it means you are adding the fluff beads. But remember, you are coming out of the center bead, right? So you pick up one center bead, and then afterwards you pick up the hot pink beads. But here we have only one. From here we have to start adding more and more. So see, it starts with a tiny circle here, and because we keep on adding more and more fluff beads, it expands. So that's what we have to do. So here I have one, I have to pick up two now. So remember, you are coming out of the center bead. You start by picking up one center bead, and then you pick up the fluff beads. In this case, we pick up two. And then you go through the 3 mm. But here, you skip the one at the bottom, and you pick up the one at the top, because we have to step up. And then here, just make sure you pull your thread nice and tight. That first lavender bead has to be next to the bottom lavender bead. See? And then you are coming out of the 3 mm, you pick up 3 mm. But from now on, it gets easier because we basically do peyote stitch. We just go through the sticking out beads. I'm coming out of the 3 mm, and the next sticking out bead is this second lavender, which is sticking out. See, the one at the bottom we skip, we go through the one that sticks out, and then pull the thread. And then you coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and then go through the sticking out bead, which is the next lavender here. You skip the one at the bottom, you go through the one at the top, and pull the thread. Again, you coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and go through the next lavender sticking out bead, which is this one here. And now, because you're coming out of the last center bead, it's time to add the fluff beads. But remember, you are coming out of the center bead, so you start with one center bead, and then you add the fluff beads. Here we added 2. Now it's time to add 3. 1, 2, 3. So you start with the center bead and 3 fluff beads. And we go through the top 3 mm. It's time to step up, so we go the one at the top. And just pull your thread. See, the ones you added, the lavenders sits right next to the lavender at the bottom. And now continue. You came out of the 3 mm, you pick up a 3 mm, and then go through the next sticking out bead, which is the next lavender here, the center bead. And now you're coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and then go through the next sticking out bead, which is this lavender here. And then you're coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and go through the next sticky point, which is, see, this lavender here. Pull the thread, and now because you're coming out of the last center bead, it means you have to add the fluff beads. But because you're coming out of the center bead, you start with the center bead, and then we added 3 fluff beads here, add 4 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 center bead and 4 fluff beads, and then we step up, going through the top 3 mm. And then pull the thread. You're coming out of the 3 mm, you pick up a 3 mm, and go through the next sticking out bead, which is this lavender bead here. Pull the thread. You're coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead, and go through the next sticking out bead, which is this one here. So you always skip the one at the bottom. You are doing peyote stitch, so you just go through the ones that are sticking out. And now you're coming out of the center bead, you pick up a center bead and go through the next sticking out bead, which is this last lavender bead here. And now, because you're coming out of the last center bead, you add fluff beads. But remember you're coming out of the center bead, so you pick up 1 center bead and this time 5 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 center bead and 5 fluff beads, and then step up by going through the 3 mm that's at the top and pull the thread. So you see, it just keeps on going same way all round and round. I'm gonna continue with you until we reach 8 fluff beads just to see how it's turning out, but basically it's the same procedure on and on. So from here we're coming out of the 3 mm. I'm gonna pick up 3 mm and then go through the next sticking out bead. I'm coming out of the center bead, I pick up a center bead and go through the next sticking out bead. I'm coming out of the center bead, I pick up a center bead and go through the next sticking out bead, which is this last lavender here. And pull your thread. And now because you're coming out of the last lavender bead, last center bead, you pick up 1 center bead and then the fluff beads. I have 5 here, I have to pick up 6 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 center bead and 6 fluff beads, and then go through the top 3 mm. We are stepping up. And then 3 mm, because we're coming out of the 3 mm, through the next sticking out bead. 1 center bead because we are coming out of the center bead through the next sticking out bead. 1 center bead through the next sticking out bead, which is the last lavender bead. Pull the thread nice and tight. It's time to add the fluff beads, but we always start with the center bead, and this time we add 7 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Center bead and 7 fluff beads, and then go through the top 3 mm. And then because you're coming out of the 3 mm, you pick up 3 mm and then go through the next sticking out bead. You're coming out of the center bead, so you pick up a center bead and then go through the next sticking out bead. Then you pick up center bead and then go through the next sticking out bead. And then here, when I go through the last center bead, I like to pull my thread here. And then we pick up center bead. Now we picked up 7 fluff beads, it's time for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go through the 3 mm. Now I brought the fluff beads all the way to 8. This is where I'm gonna stop, and that's gonna give me this thickness. But you can keep going on until you have 9 or 10 or 11 or 12. The more beads you add, the more fluffy it's gonna get. But I like this thickness for the bracelet because I don't like too chunky things, but you can just keep going on. And even, you know, the number of beads we are using at the period part, you can increase that as well. Because in the beginning I picked up 3 of them. You can pick up 4, you can pick up 5. That's just gonna make that strip as well thicker. So from now on, I'm just gonna stop at 8. I'm gonna do 2 more rows with you, and I'm gonna let you continue on your own until you reach the other side. So I'm gonna pick up 3 mm because we're coming out of the 3 mm, and then go through the next sticking out bead. Pick up center bead because we are at the center bead, go through the next sticking out bead. Pick up center bead because you're coming out of the center bead, and then go through the last sticking out bead, which is the last lavender bead here. And then when I reach the end, I like to put my needle down and pull the thread, because this stitch is very loose. It never gets too tight, but it's nice to give it a bit of a pull now and then. And then we're coming out of the last center bead. I'm gonna pick up 1 center bead and 8 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go through the top 3 mm. And then pick up 3 mm, go through the next sticking out bead. pick up one lavender, go through the next sticking out bead. Pick up one lavender, and then go through the next sticking out bead, which is the last lavender here. And then put down the needle and pull the thread. So you just keep going on and on. Now look. See? It's the beginning of your spiral. It's gorgeous. And you just go on and on. I'm gonna meet you back here. Once I finish this thread, I'm gonna show you how to get rid of this tail. And then at the same time, we're just gonna attach one side of the clasp. And then I'm gonna show you how to add new thread. And then from there, you can finish it off on your own until we reach the other side. So go ahead, finish this thread, and I'm gonna meet you back here. Now I reached the point where I have to get rid of my tail, and look how gorgeous it is. So we're just gonna get rid of the tail, and then I'm gonna show you how to add this side of the clasp. Now, it's quite easy to get rid of the tail, because if you remember, this center part is peyote stitch. So you just get rid of the tail just like you would in peyote stitch. It's just important to get to that part first. Now I ended here with coming out of the last lavender bead here. So I'm gonna pick up center bead and 8 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go through that top 3mm, and then I'm gonna pick up 3mm and then go through the next lavender. Now here I would like to finish. I'm gonna get rid of the tail, and next time I come back with a new tail, I know where to continue. I will just have to come out of that corner lavender bead and just continue my peyote onwards. So you just remember where you finished in the peyote. It's quite easy, you know, you just added one top bead, and then this is a sticky point, and then you just have to add the next top bead here. So I'll just continue from there, but for now I'm just gonna get rid of the tail. So I'm just gonna pull it nice and tight, turn it over, and I'm gonna go downwards. See where my thread is? This is the bead under, and then I'm just gonna say this is the bead underneath the one I'm coming out of. So I'm just gonna go downwards several beads straight away. And then here I like to make a turn. So I'm gonna go up the neighbor bead, and I'm gonna come back down. And then I'm gonna go down a couple beads. And then I'm gonna make one knot here. I'm just gonna pick up a thread between these 2 beads. Take my needle through the loop and pull the thread. And then I'm just gonna take my needle away from that place, going down in a spiral. It makes it quite easy because our peyote is spiraled as well, so you can just actually keep on going in a straight line. And then here I'm gonna go down this bead. I'm gonna create another turn here, go up the neighbor, go down this bead, and then go a couple more beads down. And then here I can just remove my needle and cut the thread at the base. And that's how you get rid of the tail. It's pretty easy. Now I'm gonna show you how to attach one side of the clasp. So I'm gonna thread this tail. I'm gonna attach the lobster clasp to this side, and in the next one we can just make a loop with beads. So what I'm gonna do, I have to be coming out of the fire polish, which I am right now at the top fire polish. So I'm gonna pick up 3. You can use any beads here. You can either use center bead or the fluff bead. Here I use the center bead. So I'm just gonna pick up 3 lavenders and then 1 3mm fire polish. Drop it down, go through the lobster clasp, come back through the fire polish, pick up 3 lavender beads, and then here, see where I am? I'm gonna go through the other side, through that top 3mm fire polish. And that's what it's supposed to create. You just pull the threads nice and tight. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce it. So I'm going up the side where I have this hot pink bead. So when I come down, I know I have to come down the opposite side, which can be a bit tricky if you don't remember which side you went up. So I'm just gonna go up through all the beads, pull the thread nice and tight, go through the clasp, go down through the fire polish. And now I'm gonna go through this side down. And now here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up one hot pink bead. See where I'm coming out of? I'm gonna go through this bead here. Then I'm gonna go through this bead here. So I'm just gonna go around to the hot pink on that side. Through this lavender bead and then straight, well, can't do that, but and then I'm gonna go through this hot pink bead here. And then I'm gonna pick up one more hot pink bead. And then I'm gonna go up through the lavender beads. Reinforce that place one more time. Go through the fire polish. Go through the clasp. Go down through the fire polish. Go through this side down. And then I can just go ahead and get rid of the tail. So I'm just gonna go some beads downwards. Just following the path of the thread. I'm gonna make one knot here. Pick up the thread between the beads. Small loop, take my needle through. Go down. Go some beads down. I'm gonna make a turn here. I'm gonna go up the neighbor bead and down the same bead. And then straight through some beads. Some beads here. I think I'm gonna make one more knot just to be sure. Pick up a thread here, loop, take the needle through the loop, and then take the needle down through several beads, remove the needle and cut the thread. And here we have one side of the clasp. Now we added those hot pink beads to make it neat, otherwise you would have all the threads showing there, but now it's quite neat. So I'm gonna go ahead, pick up 2 yards of a new thread, and then I'm gonna show you how to add the thread. So I have quite a curly Nymo, so I'm just gonna go ahead and straighten it out. Just pulling it. You wanna remove that curl and the give it has. So it's quite straight now. Thread my needle. And now I can just go ahead and add it. Now, remember we added the last fire polish, and then so this is the bead after that. I have to come out of this bead to continue my period. So I'm just gonna spiral down a bit. Let's say I'm gonna come up here. Leave a small loop that I can hold on to for now. And then here I want to make my first knot. I'm going to pick up a thread between the beads. I'm going to leave a small loop. Take my needle through and pull the thread. And then I'm just going to go on my way up. I want to make a turn here, so I'm just going to go down the neighbor bead. and then up the neighbor bead. I'm gonna go up one bead here, make one more knot, pick up a thread between the beads and then leave a small loop and then pull my needle through and then tighten that knot over the thread. And then I can just make my way up. Now remember, I have to come out of that top lavender bead, so I just have to make my calculations to get out there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come down this bead here, and the bead on top of this bead is the fire polish we added, so it can go there, and then I can go down the bead I'm supposed to be coming out of. That's where I stopped, and that's where I can just continue my payout. So I can just flip it off. Well, I can get rid of that tail now. And here we are. One side of the clasp attached, and then we just continue our spiral. So I'm just gonna do one more row with you. Where I stopped, I'm gonna pick up one center bead, go through the next sticky point. One center bead, go through the last sticky point, which is the last lavender bead. Then I have to pick up one center bead and then 8 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then go through this bead here. Pick up one 3 mm, go through the next sticky point, and so on until you have the required length. Now let me explain a bit about the length. In the beginning, remember, we tapered up. Now from that point where we started adding 8 fluff beads to the point where we have to stop is where you have to adjust your size. Now from that tapering to the other tapering, if you go around and see, my clasp is 2 inches, like here. If I, for example, here, close the clasp here. Now from one point of tapering to the another, it's 2 inches, which is about 5 centimeters. That's the size you have to leave out of your clasp, of your bracelet. So basically, if you want 15 centimeter bracelet, you have to make 10 centimeter of the spiral, and just leave out the tapering when you calculate the length. And then from there, when we attach the clasp, from one point of tapering to another, it's 5 centimeters or 2 inches. So leave that out. For example, if you're making a bracelet of 7 inches, just leave out 2 inches. So when you are counting, leave out that tapered part, and from there you can just calculate how much you need. And then once you're done calculating your full length, get to that point, I'm gonna meet you back here. I'm gonna show you how to taper down and attach the loop for our lobster clasp. Here I have my full required length. Now we just go taper down and make a loop for the closure. Now here I am. I added 8 fluffy beads and then came around adding beads for the peyote. Now I'm gonna pick up one center bead. Now here's 8, I have to pick up 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 1 center bead and 7 fluff beads, and then I go through the 3 mm. Pick up 1 3 mm, go through the next sticking out bead. Pick up 1 fluff bead, 1 center bead, go through the next sticking out bead. 1 center bead and go through the last sticking out bead. Now here, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull my thread. Then I pick up 1 center bead and this time 6 fluff beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then go through the 3 mm. Then pick up 3 mm. And then go through the next sticking out bead. Pick up 1 center bead, go through the next sticking out bead. 1 center bead and go through the last sticking out bead. And here I'm just gonna go ahead and pull my thread. Then I pick up center bead and 5 fluff beads now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then go through the 3mm. We're coming out of the 3mm, we pick up 3mm, go through the next sticking out bead, coming out of the center bead, pick up center bead, go through the next sticking out bead, coming out of the center bead, pick up center bead, and then go through the last sticking out bead, pick up center bead, and then 4 fluff beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go through the 3mm. And then pick up 3mm, go through the next sticking out bead, center bead, go through the next sticking out bead, center bead, go through the last sticking out bead, pull the thread, pick up center bead, and 3 fluff beads, 1, 2, 3. Then go through the 3mm, pick up 3mm, go through the next sticking out bead. Now just here help out a bit and pull the thread, pick up center bead, go through the next sticking out bead, center bead, go through the next sticking out bead, and here pull the thread, pick up center bead and 2 fluff beads, go through the 3mm at the top, pull the thread, pick up 3mm, go through the sticking out bead, center bead, go through the next sticking out bead, center bead, and then go through that last sticking out bead. Then pick up 1 center bead and 1 fluff bead, and then go through the top 3mm. And then here you want to go ahead and pull your thread. Now I'm gonna go through the sticking out bead. I'm coming out of the 3mm. I'm gonna skip that bead at the bottom and go through the sticking out bead. Go through the next sticking out bead. Go through the last sticking out bead and the fluff bead. And then go through the 3mm. And then pull the thread nice and tight. And now go ahead around again through these 2 beads here, through these 2 beads here, and then through the fire polish. Now basically we are done. It looks identical to the other side when we started. Well, it would have, we added already the clasp here. Now it's time to add the loop here. So I'm gonna pick up 3 lavender beads. I'm gonna use the same beads I used on this side. 1 3mm and 10 lavender beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 3 lavender beads, 1 3mm and 10 lavender beads. Drop it down. I'm gonna go through the fire polish, pick up 3 lavender beads, and then see the fire polish at the bottom there? See where my thread's coming out of? I'm gonna go through the other side and pull the thread. And we have the loop. Now it's just a matter of reinforcing it. Now I'm gonna go up this side. Well, hold it here. I'm gonna go up this side to reinforce it and come down this side where I have the hot pink bead. Go up, pull the thread, reinforce the loop. Come out of the 3mm and go down the side where I have that hot pink bead. Now I'm gonna pick up, see we have this threads showing up and the weird ending here. So I want to fill up that gap. So I'm gonna pick up 1 hot pink bead. I'm gonna go down the hot pink bead and the next lavender bead, come around, pick up one hot pink bead, go up this loop through the 3mm, reinforce the loop at the top again, go through the fire polish, down the side where I have two hot pink beads, and the loop is there. Now I just have to get rid of the tail. Just go around. I'm gonna go down this bead here, go through the next bead and two down. I'm just gonna spiral down through the peyote stitch now. Then here I can make my first loop. Just like we got rid of the tail the first time, it's the same way. That's all it is. Just want to make sure that loop doesn't come apart, so I'm gonna make one more loop somewhere. Then I can cut the thread here. And voila, we have our second bracelet ready. Aren't they gorgeous? And here they are. Very pretty, very simple, very lightweight, quite chunky, very elegant, and easy to make bracelet. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it wasn't too hard to follow. In the next tutorial, I'm gonna make the chunkier version of this and turn it into a necklace, so stick around for that. It's gonna be slightly different, and I'm gonna add slightly different bead to it as well, so it should be more exciting. So thanks for watching and stay tuned. Bye bye.